Real Housewives of New Jersey? Let's get into it. Oh, and if you're new here, my name is David Colarossi. I'm a licensed psychologist, and for fun in the evenings, I react to events in pop culture. Now, you might say, well, you should react to the attempted assassination of President Trump, or the fact that the Democrats have a new presidential candidate, Kamala Harris. No. This is much more interesting. Season 14, Episode 1, Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Disgusting.
I like you.
You know how stupid you are.
Sick animal.
You're a little snake.
Well, already, this is the height of rationality. I am really interested in what we can learn from these women.
Your sister's gonna be there. Jen Aiden's gonna be there.
Gives a You give a
She's literally said, I'm never gonna see you again.
I do. Let's see.
It's gonna be over after tonight. I can't wait.
All right, I have a hot take on Teresa, and let me just say, this is sort of a carryover from last season, but I don't think she is as awful as the show makes her seem, and as the Real Housewives of New Jersey kind of fandom thinks that she is. Teresa feels like, I'm trying to think how to say this. Teresa feels like an Italian mother, right? She's the matriarch of the family, and my perception is, as an Italian, that I feel like this is very common in Italian families, where you have someone who sees it as their job to hold everything together. And when they're doing that, I think it can oftentimes feel like it is very controlling. And if their siblings go off a different direction, if she feels like she's losing contact with somebody, I think it's very common for these matriarchs to be, assertive and domineering, and they can overstep. But I would also say, just as I think about my own family, I think it comes from a very good place, which is I am going to fight as hard as I can to keep my family unit together. The goal is to keep the family connected. And if you operate in opposition to that, if you come in, like Melissa has, and take someone sort of out of the family, if it feels like we're being stretched apart, I'm going to react really negatively. And so I understand, just from watching last season, I understand that Teresa comes across that way. I understand that Teresa is over the top about her power and her control in the family. But I guess I just want to say, I think it comes from a good place.
You got me a vibrator?
Oh, well, you always have my heart.
It's all
to a hotel or when I'm away. Yeah. I have to use like my electric toothbrush because I don't want to bring big.
Okay, good. Yeah, and then when you have to
easier.
brush your teeth with it, it's kind of gross.
Because it's on my body.
I have two thoughts. On the one hand, I understand that they're motivated to show kind of this female empowerment, love your body, let's be transparent and raw, and this is what it's really like to be a woman in 2024, and you should be able to talk about your sexual proclivities, whatever, right? And the other part of me goes, this is such the idea that you have two 55-year-old women that are exchanging different vibrators, and they talk about how they like to use their toothbrush sometimes, but for one it's weird, and for the other one, oh, it's my body, and it's like, just stop it with all of this. Does she really use her toothbrush as a vibrator? Like, is this true, or are we trying to be provocative and interesting? And I would fall in I think they're just full of shit. They're acting as if this is how they actually want to show up with each other. Just my guess.
And that's when the grieving kicks in. There were so many emotional responsibilities only he and I could do. And now I'm doing all this alone. And that's what hurts. It's a weird thing. I don't even want to, I don't want to torture us.
I mean, you know this, but I feel like I should say, that's not weird at all. Super common in grief and bereavement to have, you go through stages, you move through stages, you cycle through stages, you'll go through them again. Things that you wouldn't think would ever trigger the grief will crop up years later. You have to think about it like it is this ongoing process versus a super linear thing that you work through and then you're done.
I mean, I really have to get divorced first, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't feel comfortable getting engaged without his divorce being done.
That's a strong stance. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to get engaged with a guy if he was still married to somebody else. Reasonable.
We're gonna miss her so much.
Gabriella was the most reserved one when I first met her.
She tells him I love you, yeah. And
You did that too?
I need to do a deeper dive into Teresa, but I just want to say that whenever I hear Teresa or Louis talk about family or friends, it's very hierarchical. And the through line always seems to be, to what extent are you loyal to me? Right? When Teresa earlier on was talking about her daughter, she goes, when I was in jail, this daughter was the one that wrote me emails every single day. I have a special affection for her because she has affection for me. And Louis talking about how this is the daughter that says, I love you. I have special affection to her. She's higher up in the hierarchy because she's the most loyal verbally. As opposed to having kind of a more grounded approach, which is, I want everybody to self-actualize. I want everybody to do whatever. I want them to be fulfilled in their lives, whether or not that includes constant praise directed towards me. Right? And I think that's why at the core of it, I think that Teresa and Louis are battling everybody is because they're sitting there sort of dug in saying, you're all not good for us. You're all not loyal enough. You're all not kissing the ring enough. And it leads to incredible friction. They become very controlling of people that aren't deferential to them.
I didn't really lay out too much while I was away. It was more like sightseeing.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not into sightseeing.
Oh, yeah. I'm not into sight. I travel, sure. Not for sightseeing. To lay out. Get that tan going.
I'm not begging.
I feel like you don't give a
Paul and I get asked about marriage probably once a day.
And not this way. It's not like you're rushing to have a baby. So, like,
I'm not.
She for sure gives a shit. He should propose to her. The fact that she's still with him, in my opinion, is wild. But it's an interesting dynamic, right? Where she's, like, her stance is not, I really want him to propose. Her stance is, oh, I don't care. Like, she's too invested in being calm and cool than she is in saying what she actually expects. And so he'll take advantage of her.
The bottom line, so I'm going to say what I think.
It looks like you're on the side. I'm just being honest.
You back that guy up? What do you mean back him up? If he's wrong, I wouldn't back anybody up.
I don't love Paulie because I don't love the way he's treating Dolores. But his comments here are so much more rational than John's. It's funny, like, I can't think of a time over the course of my entire life when I've had a friend, like a peer, look at me and tell me who I can and who I could and could not be friends with. Like, this whole idea of it looks like you're on his side is a weird, like, it's a weird stance to take. It's super, super adolescent. Come on, man.
Always know where the exit is. Now it's time to leave.
I'm telling you right now. You're gonna tell me to shut the f*** up. This is gonna escalate to a different level.
Dolores should back up and let them finish talking about it. Like, just don't wait for a fight to escalate and then everybody separate and not finish talking. They're not gonna fight. They're not gonna physically fight. They're gonna yell at each other. They'll down-regulate and they'll work through it. This is not that big of a deal.
I will f***ing rip heads off. No, listen.
Cannot yell at him.
Paulie.
Cannot yell at him.
Joey, it's respect. Don't tell me to shut.
Can you imagine being that concerned with people respecting you? If I was a psychologist, I would say it feels a little bit like you don't have enough intrinsic sense of value. You don't have enough intrinsic respect for yourself, so you're looking to be sort of validated and confirmed by everybody around you. Because, like, whether or not Paulie shows John respect should have zero bearing on how John feels, right? Like, this is like such an adolescent mindset. Someday John will find himself, I guess.
My husband's a gentleman. Teresa. Yes, Rachel. You don't know my husband. He's a gentleman.
I like this move. You don't know my husband. He's a gentleman, and gentlemen talk outside.
He was nice. So don't come for my husband. He was I will come for your Teresa.
No one's coming for anybody's husband. No one should be coming for anybody's husband. Like, the idea that these two women are now fighting about their husband's fight. I know that it's fabricated. I know this is all part of Bravo. We got to do this, but it is silly.
You're gonna let me talk. Conversation's over. I can't talk to somebody who doesn't listen. You don't listen. You're talking to a drug dealer.
Can you imagine? Like, just imagine if somebody didn't respond to Teresa. Like if somebody goes, yeah, I did. I sold pot when I was younger. Moving on. Like it would just be a zero. Like this only happens because everybody's so hell-bent on being in control and winning the argument, and everybody's so hell-bent on being respected that they just crash into each other. It's good TV. It's good. I would be lying if I said that I didn't enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I reading Teresa and Louis right, or am I off base on that? Let me know what you think.